I need to feel your energy today from start to finish.
Come on, let's go.
Let's crank this thing up. It get real ferocious, I'm trying to tell you.
Turn me up all day.
From the locker room to the broadcast booth, breaking news and the truth behind every take from a real NFL insider and television analyst.
Now get ready for the NFL show where the conversation gets real and the fans get a voice. It's time for the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here on ESPN Radio.
And that's football.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Appreciate you joining me, as always. 2 days away before it goes crazy, before it goes big time. The NFL draft here Thursday evening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And guess what? Yours truly will be in Pittsburgh. I leave first thing in the morning, have a 6:30 flight out of Richmond. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these things play out as far as all the stories that we're hearing. I've spoken to a lot of people, and I feel pretty good about some of the stuff I heard. And then some of the stuff I heard, I don't feel pretty good about. So we're going to break all that down for you today. And if you'd like to join us, all you have to do is call us up. Very simple. All you have to do is call us up at 804-327-0888. Once again, 804-327-0888. And a little birdie told me that if you want to text me, that's the same number. So if you don't want to have your voice heard and it's not melodious like mine, that's okay. You can text us up and our super producer, Alan, will get you on board with us.
What was that word? Melodious?
Melodious. You never heard of that before, huh?
It's that Penn State stuff.
Come on, man. Big words. That's what we do.
Big words, not big plays. You got it. It's been a while, Lake. I had to set you up, man. You wasn't here last week.
Oh my God. You see what I'm dealing with, man?
I had to get you, man. We had to make up for lost time. You wasn't here last week.
You missed me on Thursday, didn't you?
I did, man. It's not the same when it's by phone and you're driving. I can't distract you.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I did do the first half from inside the bubble. Yeah. So, but then I had to get out of there. It was just time. So yeah, man, speaking of the bubble, I was there for Adam Peters and Lance Newmark's, press conference, Washington Commanders. And today I want to break down the three best scenarios for this football team, for this franchise that could unfold on Thursday night. And I think that I have it covered. I think I have those three scenarios locked solid, if that's what you want to say, rock solid, however you say it, lock and key, however you want to say it. And we're going to break that down today. And I think that there are going to be some people listening that need some intel, that need some real good, hard-nosed intel. And I got to tell you, I've talked to some folks and our stories match up, so I'm feeling pretty good about what can possibly happen. So good that I'm going to give you three different scenarios, that kind of bails me out a little bit. If one doesn't happen, the second one could happen. If that doesn't happen, then the third one could happen. So let's talk about that and let's bring on Al. So this is that time of year, my friend, where it gets crazy. And I've already changed my prediction 3 times, over the past 2 weeks, just from talking to folks and listening to what Adam had to say the other day. Just in sitting there, I got the impression that they're definitely not trading out of 7. However, that could be one of my 3 scenarios that unfolds. So let's get right into it. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go from 3 to 1, 1 being the best scenario possible. Okay. The third scenario for Washington that, if it unfolds, wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay. And for me, that scenario is a trade back. Okay. That trade back would be you trade back and get an early to mid first round pick this year. So you're not trading from 7 to 20 to 25, 28. No. You're trading back maybe from 7 to 11, 12. At worst, no lower than 17. Okay. I would say no lower than 16, actually, because the Jets are one of the teams that I have in mind, and they pick 16. Okay. Would you be okay with that? If you can do that, you can trade back to anywhere between 11 and 16, and you recoup a second rounder this year, which you don't have.
if you're talking about the Jets in that 16th pick, for them to get to the 7th, they've got to get me a future first. That was the going rate last year for moving up that far.
But
like
what if the Jets give you, because I think they have like 2 or 3 second rounders this year. What if they give you their highest second rounder and their 16th pick and you're Washington?
That probably would work because depending on, one of the things that people have talked about, they need more draft capital.
Yeah.
Adding an extra pick for this year would be additional draft capital. You probably can maybe squeeze out another second rounder for that. Because again, you're looking at them moving into the top 10. We have to make sure we understand that is holy ground right there when you're talking about a draft that is potentially as deep as this one is for the needs of the Jets, especially.
So wait. So you're saying that Washington could get, they could flip flop, okay, and get maybe 2 second rounders.
If
that's
swap,
the case, then that's a no brainer.
I would swap and ask for 2 second rounders because again, last year's rate was, and this was a team coming from the second round back into the first round. They gave up a future first round for that. I don't think. Obviously, it's ambitious. Not everybody's crazy like the Falcons. But I don't believe
the Jets have history.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't believe you can just give it away because you're giving them a top 10 pick, even if you swap. That's a pretty steep fall, 9 spots in the draft.
Yeah, because see, one of the things that I'm also hearing about with the Jets is that there's a little bit of uncertainty in the building about who they want at number 2. And obviously, Arvell Reese, is a guy that's there. And then today, the Jets obviously mentioned they haven't met with David Bailey, but they're like, don't let, them not getting their meeting down with him fool you. There's still a high interest in him. So when you hear stuff like that, it tells you that perhaps they can be had. Perhaps they can even be moved out of that second spot. Perhaps a team like the Dallas Cowboys, who have 2 literally draft picks in the first round, could come calling. Who's to say that won't happen? We have a caller on the line. We have Eric from Chesterfield. What's going on, Eric?
What's up, my man? I hope all is well with y'all.
Absolutely. Just getting ready to head on up to Pittsburgh first thing in the morning and see what happens on Thursday.
There you go.
So what are you thinking as far as this team? Has anything changed for you where one of the scenarios, I'm going over 3 scenarios tonight for this team, 3 of the best possible scenarios to unfold. And I'm going with the third, starting with the third being the lowest one on the totem pole so far. And that third one just happens to be that they trade back and they get, still an early first round pick, and perhaps they pick up a second rounder. My producer saying maybe if they can get 2 second rounders off the Jets, do you do that? Would you make that move?
Yeah, so it depends on who they're going for, I guess. I mean, I know it's going to be a crapshoot, but I do say you don't know how anyone's going to pan out, but I guess it depends on position they value because, like you said, if we're going receiver, yeah, Tate's cool. Mm-hmm. I like him. If we pick him, I'm fine with it, but is he that much of a difference maker than, say, someone sitting around 15, 16 is
right.
Kind of my thought. If they don't see too much of a difference, then, yeah, if you're able to pick up a couple seconds or a second and a third or a second and a fourth, it's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, because those are going to be the things that start to unfold. I think what's going to start happening is over the next day, literally by the time, I go to bed in Pittsburgh tomorrow, I can assure you the phone lines are going to be ringing because that 7th pick does have value, not just for them staying and making the pick. It has value for someone who wants to move up into that spot desperately. And therefore, if you're Adam Peters, he's going to wheel and deal and do something, but we'll have to see how that thing plays out. So Eric, my friend, I appreciate you calling me up as always, brother. And hopefully we'll get the pick for you that you want on Thursday.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm going to be happy with probably anybody there at 7, but, there's a lot of talent in the second and third round. So if they're able to get a king's ransom, I could definitely see it.
Yeah, you would have to. You'd have to. You'd have no choice. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in, my friend, anytime. All right.
Yep, you know it.
All right. Take care now. All right. Look, yeah. I mean, so I think when you hear fans, Alan, think that they're okay with that. If they were to make a move like that, that's not bad. So that's why that's one of our scenarios. Again, where would you put that scenario? Like if you could get a little mini haul where you still keep a first rounder this year, maybe a mid first rounder, and you walk away with a second, 2 seconds, or a second and a third this year, do you make that move? And what's your percentage on that?
I think that's probably my third option of probability. So less than 30%. It's not off the wall, but it's less likely to happen because in order for that to happen, we're talking about your board is probably pretty short. Because again, I've got at least 10, 11 guys that can go at that 5 to 7 range
and help.
Yeah. Immediately help.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't add up for your guys not to be there if you're the Commanders.
Yeah.
So the probability of them just getting trading down is kind of crazy unless they get an offer that they can't refuse. And again, it's deep enough that if you go within that, I would say I wouldn't go any further than the Cowboys pick at 12. But if you drop
that's
down,
what I said.
Yeah,
11,
if you drop down a couple spots,
exactly,
you're still going to be able to get a productive person and probably somebody that was on your board for needs and wants.
And see, that's what the caller was just saying. As far as let's use Carnell Tate as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Tyson, I think, might be wide receiver 1 as far as what I'm hearing. He might go early. He might go real early, surprisingly early at like 5.
Giants do
5.
have 2 top 10 picks,
and that's the team that I was told is really high on this guy, and they may flip their way of thinking because now they do have the 10 pick, that they traded for Sexy Dexy, to go to Cincinnati. What was Cincinnati thinking? But with that being right, but with that said, maybe now the person that you originally would have taken at 5, like a Sonny Styles or a Caleb Downs, you kind of roll the dice a little bit and hope and pray that one of them could be sitting there at 10, which is more likely to be Caleb Downs than it would be Sonny Styles.
Yeah, my thing with that is the depth of the positions is what I'm going to look at it in order for me to make that decision, right?
Yeah.
Your very best wide receiver in this draft and the number 3, number 4, your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, it's not that drastic of a gap, right?
100% agree with you.
Your edge 1, linebacker 1, depending on where you got them graded at, and the next guy, the gap's a little wider, right?
There's only 2 guys.
Yeah.
In this 3 guys, I'm sorry, three players in this draft that I said are unequivocally the best at their positions.
Yeah.
Fernando Mendoza, that's why he's going number 1 as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Love, there's no one close to him at running back.
Not even.
Okay. And Caleb Downs at safety. And for my money, Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love are the 2 best players in this draft, skill set wise.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today and I said wide receiver and tackle are to me the 2 deepest positions in this particular draft. I'm not rushing to pick any of these guys unless I have to, because again, the gap between 1 and 5 to me isn't going to be that large.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's some guys that are out there that we're going to have an opportunity to break down over the next, 45 minutes or so. So we got the third scenario out of the way. Scenario number 2 is coming up right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Radio, ESPN Radio Richmond 106.1 FM. If you're listening on HD radio at 103.7, appreciate you listening us on there. And right now we're breaking down here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. We're breaking down the Washington Commanders' 3 best scenarios that can unfold for them. Before we get into number 2, we do have a caller on right now. We have Dolphin Dave on with us. What's going on, DD? That's what I'm going to start calling you, my friend.
I love it. Okay, I'm all over it. Hey, Lake, listen, we talked a couple times, and this morning we talked briefly. I totally agree with you about we have to get wide receiver help. I was looking because I had some downtime at work, at mock drafts, and you got people all over the place. And I think if we can get 2 picks off for 30, you're right. It's like being in the second round, get a second and a third.
Yes.
Here's the thing. A lot of mock drafts have us going defense heavy, which is fine, quarterback, safety. I think we need I seriously think we need a wide receiver, and I think we need to take him at 11.
Yes.
Get the best wide receiver possible, and then go from there. Do you think that do we take a wide receiver at 11, or do we wait and see if it drops? A good wide receiver drops to the 3rd round. I just don't feel comfortable waiting that long to maybe getting something that can, because we don't have the wide receivers. I think that we need offense, and yes, we need defense. What do you think about where we should pick a wide receiver, and what do you think then what we should do with, if we trade down, what we should do with the next pick?
Yeah, see, I've been saying now for literally like over the last week and a half that the Dolphins are going to take a receiver at number 11. I don't think they're going to move that pick. And I think that receiver originally for me was Jordan Tyson. I don't think it'll be Jordan Tyson now because I think Tyson's going to go a lot earlier. He's the sexy name that's rising in this draft, and it happens every year where one player catches on like wildfire and he just moves up the boards. And strategically had his pro day and workouts just the other day, which was perfect timing because that's the last impression any scout is going to see for a receiver. So I think Jordan Tyson, in my opinion, I think Jordan Tyson might be off the board at 5 with the New York Giants. So with that said, Carnell Tate is the wild card here, but I think Carnell Tate will go before number 11, either to Washington or to Cleveland. So for me, you're going to love this, Dave, because the best player, the best receiver in this draft for me, the best wide receiver, I've been saying from day one, going all the way back to Indianapolis when I was there for the combines, it's Mekhi Lemon. He's my number 1 rated receiver in this year's draft, and I think that's who you guys are going to be selecting at number 11.
I love it. I love it. Now, one other thing before I let you go, Lake, you and your cohort in crime there that is stuck with me calling all the time, he's probably getting tired of me.
Never.
I would like to set up a time that this year at the NFL, I have a local watering hole I go to watch NFL football. I would like to invite both you guys there to watch with me on one Sunday, and I would, buy you a drink and go ahead on a Sunday and just kick back. And for people who love football, just watch football with people that love football.
So, Dave, I will take you up on that any day of the week. The problem is I'm NFL media.
Yeah, and I'm usually at the games.
Yeah. So I'm gone every Sunday, either Washington or somewhere else this year. So unless it's a bye or I get a week off, which probably won't happen during the season, I tell you what, we could take that up on a Monday night maybe where I won't have to cover a game. We could do it then if that's okay.
Absolutely.
With you. All right, done. Let's book that.
But if you have to go to an NFL game and need somebody to carry your bags, okay, or like if you're going to Pittsburgh, I need someone to go ahead and caddy for you at Pittsburgh. I'm your guy. I'll be more than happy to go ahead to great personal sacrifice and take care of your bags for you and make sure you have your valet. As long as I can get into the credentialed media, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, you know what, Dolphin Dave, I have something for you then, because I have something that I can't really use as media. Okay, so if he's still hearing us, I know he's off now. I have our brochure media, stuff that they gave me last year in Madrid, in Spain. Mm-hmm. And the Commanders played who? The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have something that I'll give him because I can't use it and it's still in mint condition. So that'll be my gift to this guy. I do appreciate all that love that he does, and he calls in here to talk about his Miami Dolphins. All right, so let's move on here to scenario number 2 for the Washington Commanders. If you're just joining us today, what we're doing here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show is before I take off tomorrow morning for Pittsburgh for the draft, I wanted to come up with 3 ideal scenarios for the Washington Commanders, 3 lock solid scenarios that could unfold, I think possibly will unfold. And we want to know which one would you do. Okay. So in my order, we're going 3 back to 1 being the best scenario, 3 being a good scenario. That's why it's on one of these top 3. It was The third scenario is they get a call to trade back, not trade back from 7 to like 25, but 7 to maybe 10, 11. So they still have an early first rounder. However, they can recoup a second rounder or a third or 2 second rounders if you're the New York Jets and you come calling. Would you do that? Alan said it's favorable, but it would still be his third and it would still be my third. Okay. So number 2, moving on here. Number 2 is Sonny Styles is on the board at number 7 for the Washington Commanders, and Jeremiah Love has already been selected. Okay. That's scenario number 2. And I can tell you right now, from people I've spoken with who are in the building, Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles are their 2 highest rated players on the board. That's what I've heard. Okay. Does it mean it's a fact? Does it mean it's solid? I mean, it's solid, of course, but does it mean it's a fact? Maybe not. Things can change. Maybe Jordan Tyson wowed some people all of a sudden. He's up there. But I know for a long time, Jeremiah Love at running back and Sonny Styles, the uber talented former safety, now linebacker, a Mike. And if you look at Washington, what are they in the room for? At linebacker, a Mike, because Bobby Wagner's not on the roster, at least as of now, although I think Bobby Wagner will be back. Okay, so what do you think, Alan?
I think you pull the trigger on that for sure. I think that's a need that you're going to have. Also, like we had discussed, the 2 positions that you got to have a really good defense. Got to have a Mike, got to have a safety. It seems to be the going thing for the talented defenses or the top defenses in the modern age of football and probably through the history of football. Yeah. You got to have coverage at all 3 levels. Your quarterback of the defense is your Mike. Your safety is the last line of defense. So they got to be on the same page. They got to be smart athletes. Yeah.
And, I also want fans to realize that when you look at Washington's defensive line and you specifically look at the edge, they brought back Dedrick Wise, who's more so of a edge setter, not so much a pass rusher, but an edge setter where you're not going to run the ball on that edge. And then Dorrance Armstrong coming back from an ACL injury. Dorrance Armstrong just 2 seasons ago was paid a pretty penny to come to Washington from Dallas. He was there with Dan Quinn. So you have some money invested there. And, oh, by the way, what do you do in free agency? You bring in Kayvon Chasen on a 1-year deal, and then you spend, $67 million is guaranteed on a $100 million deal, but 67 is guaranteed to Odafe Owe. By the way, you can say it, not me. Come on, we are.
Nah, man. But I give him credit, and he's a disruptive guy. Yeah, and like I said, the offseason for the Commanders looks like they were going for people to fit, certain traits, right? Yeah. Disruptor, glue guy, locker room guy, all that stuff. But the people that you're drafting at the 7th pick are complete players at this point. These are game-changing players. Yeah.
But the point I was making with the edge rushers is there's a lot of money that they've put into that, and you can never have enough. But I say that with the idea that perhaps that's not one of those positions if there's a player that's still there, a la Ruben Bain.
Look at your fellas in New York, right? They had 2 really good productive guys. They spent a lot of money to get Burns in there, and then they turned around and drafted Abdul Carter, who's from, also I know exactly. Yeah. We are, but I really don't think you can have too much of a good thing when it comes to getting after the quarterback, because everything starts and stops. Even with the league getting back to running the ball, it all starts and stops up front. So the more you can rotate in, you look at the Seahawks, their rotation was pretty deep on their defensive front as well. And if you look at what Flores does and this system, he needs to have the ability to adapt. Yeah. So, and you need bodies for that.
But they need, I think for Washington now, because Bobby's not on the field at this moment, or not in the building at this moment, they need a guy that can grow into that green dot. They need a guy that can call plays, that can get people in position, a la what Bobby does.
And can cover the ground when
and
guys are running into each other.
Stop.
I hope not to see that this year.
Stop.
It happened a lot last year.
Yeah. But, it wasn't all his fault. That's what I keep saying.
It wasn't.
Poor defensive coaching and play calling. But with that said, the Sonny Styles thing, that scenario number 2 that I think would be a coup for Washington if they could walk away with a guy of that magnitude. Because one thing that they do want to do on their defense that we've been told over and over and over, and Durante has said it on several occasions, they want to get aggressive football players that are athletic, that are fast, that are athletic, that are intelligent. And guess what? Everything that we've seen from Sonny Styles, one thing that stands out about him is not just the fact that he had this ridiculous Herculean, there's another word for you, a Herculean, combine where he ran a 4.4 at that size, that's scary. And he also had like over, a 40-inch vertical, so I think it was like a 42-inch vertical. He's an athlete and he's a guy that you can plug in there and play. But the thing that stood out to me about him the most, Alan, last year at Ohio State was his tackle rate. It was 93%. He didn't miss tackles. And that's coming from playing safety, moving into a linebacker role. It's a little different at that part of the field to tackle people. They're a lot bigger coming at you, and yet he was able to bring everyone down he touched.
Yeah, and you got to give him credit for IQ too, man. Safeties and middle linebackers, again, the 2 smartest people on the defense a lot of times.
Yes.
Because you got to cover so much ground. You got to be able to see so many things. You got 2 assignments typically there too. Like you got to play the run and you got to play the pass. So I think it's a little easier sometimes on the far outside. Sometimes it's a little easier as an edge. Sometimes a little easier interior. But for middle linebackers and safeties, they don't normally get a play to take a break, period. So no. I like Sonny's motor. Like I said, the tape wasn't bad at all. You talk about the tackling, man. What about the instincts, right? Like that's another intangible you got to have to play the position of safety and move down into the box, a little bit tighter space to operate in. And he transitioned just fine. So there's versatility there. What if you need to move him a little further out to utilize some of that safety experience to cover guys? You have a very versatile tool when you talk about Sonny Styles. But I'll be honest with you, Lake, I don't know how you can get to that number 5 spot as the Giants, and it's between him and Caleb Downs, and you not pick Sonny.
So maybe it's Caleb Downs they pick.
Yeah, maybe it's Caleb Downs that comes in there, which obviously would be my scenario 1.
And we've said for a long time that Harbaugh loves safety play. You got Kyle Hamilton, but then I think it was you that brought to my attention, but he also started with that middle linebacker first. So boom, you have either or. and how crazy would it be for the New York Giants to come away with this draft with both those players?
Somebody will stop it before it gets to, man, if Caleb falls to 10th and they pick him at 10th, that's insane. You couldn't ask for
a smoke bomb off in the park or something to stop that. I mean, this is crazy.
Ask for a better scenario. And think about the built-in chemistry you're bringing in between 2 guys who played so much time together at Ohio State, a full season there, and the success that they had defensively there. Like you're bringing in all of that on top of just the IQ, man, between the 2 players. I mean, it would be a dream come true for any coach to start a defense with those 2 guys on top of having Thibodeau, Burns, Carter, and, just a plethora of other athletes on that defense.
You know who the most important man in the building is for the Giants? And I know we're giving the Giants a little bit too much love here, but do you know who the most important person in the building is for the New York Giants right now?
Joe Shane's son, who told him to pick Jaden. He's a smart kid, man. They need to listen to him.
It's Anthony Weaver. Isn't that the D coordinator now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it's Anthony Weaver because he's walking into,
look at that.
He's got a legit landmine of a defense, and they're getting ready to add to that. So it could get real interesting.
It's Denard Wilson.
Oh, Denard Wilson. Yeah. You know what? I apologize. I knew that. I don't know why I was thinking Anthony Weaver because both of them came with Harbaugh.
Yeah,
so,
that's why I was like,
yes. So Denard Wilson, he is the most important person. I'm glad you corrected me on that because I would have kept running with that today. He's the most important guy because you're getting Brian Burns, Abdul Carter. You're getting some players here. You have a defense that was very much last year a disappointment. They did not do what they were supposed to do. And now you get a chance to reset that talent and get them hungry again and add to the talent pool. If you can walk away with a Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs or someone like that, it's going to be good. So number 2 scenario that we just broke down was on Washington's draft board. The best scenario at number 2 for Washington is that Sonny Styles is available on the board at 7. The caveat, though, is that Jeremiah Love was already selected. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have the number 1 thing on the board for the Washington Commanders would be the dream scenario that I don't care what you think. It is the dream scenario. And I have been told this by multiple people. You'll be able to hear it when you come back right here, ESPN Radio. You're listening to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Listening to ESPN Radio, the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. And Alan, I got to give you credit, man. Today you kind of stepped up your music production. It's a lot of old school stuff, but a lot of bass to it, you know. So that's what we need to get us amped up, get us excited, because this number 1 thing on our list, as far as the most ideal scenario for the Washington Commanders, is getting ready to come up. But I was told that we do have a caller on the line right now. We have Antoine Taylor's calling us right now. What's going on, Antoine?
Not too much. Doing pretty good.
Appreciate you calling in. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, I was just calling about these top 3 scenarios for Washington and what to do on draft day. Do
you like the 3rd scenario, which is trading back and getting, you still have a high first round draft pick this year. You move back just a couple spots, but in return you recoup a 2nd rounder this year, or maybe a 2nd and something else this year. Would you be okay with that?
Not really. Like you said, move back to like 16, right?
Yeah, that's the lowest you would go back to, but preferably you'd be anywhere as high as 11 and as low as 16.
Okay, possibly 10 or 11, possibly. I mean, I'd probably rather stick at 7. I'm not really big on trading back, but no lower than 10 or 11 if they're going to trade back. Okay,
so you like the 2nd scenario I had where it was Sonny Styles is on the board at number 7 and Jeremiah Love was already selected. So Styles is sitting there to be had at 7. Would you be okay with that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll take Styles in that scenario.
Okay, well, guess what? The number 1 scenario is getting ready to come up. And I'm going to keep you on the line for this because I want to get your reaction on this, okay? The number 1 scenario on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show for the Washington Commanders to unfold on Thursday night is at number 7. They keep the pick because Jeremiah Love is sitting there. That's the best scenario that could unfold on draft night for Washington, period. Would you be okay with that?
Most definitely. That is, that's the guy that I'm hoping will be there. There's no way you can pass that guy up.
No way whatsoever. I don't care who else is there. If he's sitting there at 7, then you've just fleeced the draft. and if you're Washington, you are literally moonwalking, doing whatever you got to do to walk up to that podium in style. That's what you want to get. You will love that pick for Love. No pun intended there. So that's our scenario there. So our caller thought that would be great. So appreciate you calling, Antoine.
All right. Thank you. No problem.
All right. So yeah, Alan, what do you think? That's the ideal scenario, period.
Yeah, it's the most ideal scenario, but I still think we got to be flexible. We got to be ready for anything is possible because, again, in front of you is a team in Cleveland that has openly said they would ship their pick. Anybody could jump in front of you.
Who wants a guy like Love?
Yeah, who wants a guy like Love and who could throw a little bit of a wrench in front of some of your
but like couple teams that you could look at and say, okay, do the Cowboys, they have multiple first round picks. Do they want to move up to get Love?
No,
I don't see that.
No.
Exactly. Do the Dolphins, who have multiple picks, do they want to move up to get Love? They have A-Chain.
No, but a team like the Buccaneers, who could be desperate enough and think because they've been in the playoffs a couple times.
But why? But they've got Bucky Irving.
Yeah, but the same way you trying to sell me on Love. I mean,
I'm just saying the teams that have multiple picks here. Cleveland, yeah. I mean, does Cleveland do that?
Does Cleveland take Love? I mean,
yeah.
I don't think they will. I think for Cleveland, their eyes have to be looking towards wide receiver
or an offensive
or
line.
offensive line. No,
yeah,
should
question.
be an offensive
It should
line.
be my guy from you know who, Ione.
Yeah, it should be offensive line. But they at the 24th pick for the Browns, they also could still get a pretty good offensive lineman there.
Yeah, see, I think the teams that when Kansas City got Kenneth Walker, I breathed a sigh of relief because I'm like, okay. I mean, they still could get him, and that would be a daunting pairing. But I don't think that would happen because they have other pressing needs. I don't know why. I just think Kansas City is going to be in the corner market. They're going to be, looking for maybe Mansour Delane to fall, or maybe you can get a guy like Jermod McCoy. I know there's the injury history that he had missed all last year from an ACL, but he's still a really good one, and he's young. Those ACLs are more like little hiccups now, guys come back from. So there's teams that you look at and you say to yourself, who would Washington have to be worried about to move up and get a Jeremiah Love or stay there? I mean, could possibly the New York Giants at number 5 take him and pair him with Cam Scatterboo. I mean, but they already have Tracy there. So I don't see that happening. To me, the two teams that Washington has to look out for to see what exactly they do before them, it's Arizona at 3 and it's Tennessee at 4. If Arizona moves out of that position, you don't have anything to worry about. Well, that's not true because they could move out of that position to a team that's trying to move up to get him. Yeah. But do you move up to number 3 to draft a running back?
I wouldn't.
Right. That's not logical normally to trade up and give up something to get a running back. That's to get someone else that's on your board. So I'm saying this. The chances of Washington, percentage-wise, to walk away on Thursday night with Jeremiah Love, I would say it's less than 50%. Let's just put it at 49%. Okay? It could happen. I don't foresee it happening. And that's why I'm saying if it's there to be had, that is the dream scenario, I think, for most Commanders fans. And it's funny we're saying this, Alan, because I do recall, about 2 months ago when I was in Indianapolis and I said that Jeremiah Love's the best player in this draft, period. And if he could end up in Washington, that would be a coup. And I had people tell me I'm crazy.
Originally, I thought you were crazy too. But again, as it keeps shaping out more and more, and you guys pointed out what the Commanders have done over the course of the free agency.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man,
I wouldn't be as up in arms as I was before.
I'm going to say this. I've never said this. Okay. The scenario of Washington being able to walk away with Jeremiah Love would be just as meaningful, would be just as you're going to think I'm crazy. Everyone says that I'm crazy with this stuff, but this is what I do for a living. It would have the same impact Jaden Daniels had at number 2.
I don't know about that
one. Trust me when I tell you.
I don't
you know
think
why
it's that you're crazy.
You know why it will?
Yeah.
Because now work with me on this. You're a football guy. You watch a lot of film. You get down there with the Panthers. So listen, what player on Washington's roster, on their roster, I don't mean on one side of the ball. I mean on their roster. We'll get to him in 1 second. 3 players. Name 3 players on the Commanders roster right now that demands national attention because they're that good.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't do that.
There's 2.
Yeah, it's Jaden and Terry.
Okay.
Yeah.
and Terry is still.
Yeah, it's waning.
It's waning.
But that's because last year wasn't a great year. He'll be back.
No, he absolutely will be back. But I don't think anyone mentions Terry as the best receiver in football outside of DC, okay? No one does that. We all talk about Jaden Daniels potentially being the face of the NFL. as a young quarterback. He has that kind of potential, just got to stay healthy and be on the field to do it. Jeremiah Love is one of those type of players that if he's on Washington's roster now, they've got two absolute studs.
Since you don't have a second round pick, and if you're going to pick at the 7th spot, it's got to be somebody that can come in and make immediate impact.
And Jeremiah Love makes an immediate impact.
He can do that. And again, like I said, the more I think about it, the more I am not opposed to it. Would love to hear the conversation and debate in the war room, though.
Okay. All right. Well, remember, folks, I'll be in Pittsburgh.
You're going to be in the war room?
Giving you updates. But I tell you who will be close to that war room, Candy Waller and Donna Hopkins.
Yeah.
They'll be up there at Commander's Park. So I'll be interacting with them from Pittsburgh back and forth, getting some intel, giving them some intel. So it's going to be pretty cool. All right. So we have Bruce on the line with us right now. So what's going on, Bruce?
Hey, Lake. Good evening, Lake. Good evening, Alan.
Appreciate you.
I mean, you just threw the alley hoop, man. I'm telling you the truth. All you got to do is catch it and dunk it, babe. And you threw it. It's a perfect pass.
Thank you.
So, Lake, Lake, Alan should tell you when Fitz went out to Indianapolis. I sent them a text. Please tell me how good Jeremiah Love is. Prove me wrong. Because I was saying then that he was the best player in the draft.
Period. I've been saying it for a long time, my friend. And in fairness to our guy, Jack, that's my guy. That's my young pup. He's he's kind of in the realm of, positional value and things like that. And I don't go by that stuff anymore. I just don't. I think when you see with your own eyes what a guy does on Saturdays at the highest of levels and it never wanes, that's a guy what you're going to get at the next level. And Jeremiah Love, to me, was the most consistent, the most dominant, and he was doing it with all eyes on him because he was playing in Notre Dame. So to me, what more do you want from a player? And by the way, when everyone talks about Washington needs a receiver, this guy is pretty much a receiver as well. He's your Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs all over again. And now you'd have that in Washington with Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. I'm running to the podium if he's there at number 7.
And Lake, so even as I shared this morning, even if he were to go to Arizona, you have a top 5 tight end at Arizona already.
Yes, you do. You
have Marvin Harrison at wideout.
Yes.
All they need to do is add a more press, and they may not need to do that.
Well,
they can sign the current
they need a quarterback.
QB.
Yeah, well, no, they need a quarterback. But Brissett, but Jacoby Brissett could hold the fort down until potentially next year's draft when there's a lot of quarterbacks coming out. I will say this, Bruce. I'm not one of these guys that's sold on next year's draft as far as quarterbacks. I'm not. I've said in all my analysis that I thought the 2026 draft class at quarterback in 2027 were going to be the 2 worst over the past 10 years. And I'm still, unless Arch Manning puts it all together. I mean, I know the pedigree's there, the name and the skill set, but I didn't see a whole lot last year to make me like, oh, I'm running to the podium at number 1 for this guy. I'm a Dante Moore fan but I think he needs more work. He needs more reps. And I think Oregon is in position to give him all of that. So he's the guy that I'm watching for next year if you're in the market for a quarterback.
Let me just close with this.
Yes.
And I know Alan is saying this too. The one thing that Lake is saying about J Love, we know he can run the rock.
Yes.
We know he can catch the rock. The one thing people are not saying enough about him is his ability to block, his ability to plug the gaps when these linebackers come on these blitz.
Yes.
He is able to hold a block, guys. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, this guy is special.
Yes. And you know what's funny? Before the show started, Alan and me were talking, and we were talking about Ashton Genty. And I was just like, I wasn't sold on him last year. And one of the reasons why was he's not good in pass blocking, And the second thing is a little shoddy catching the ball out of the backfield. All of those things leads me to look at a guy like Jeremiah Love and know that he does everything. He's a guy, if you wanted, you could put back there as a punt returner or a kickoff returner. You'll never do that. You don't need that. But he's that kind of talent. And he's also a guy that plays with a lot of heart and desire. And I'm sorry, I just think that's what Washington's been needing. They need another alpha like Jaden Daniels. And I think you would instantly have your second player or potentially third player with Terry and Jaden that the league worries about when they play them.
You, like I said, like you threw the lob, man. All Allen catch the ball, man, and take and finish, bro.
Well, if Allen dunks it, we're gonna have some shattered glass on the court. So
yeah, that's true. Being there and that. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate you. All righty. Good stuff there. Yeah, man. You know, I think most diehard Commanders fans are really warming up to this scenario. And not just because I said it. Yeah, maybe, you know, but not because I said it, Alan. But I think that they understand your most prized possession is Jaden Daniels. You've done a lot in free agency on defense. You're getting a lot of guys back that got injured last year on defense. And yes, Sonny Styles is a stud. Caleb Downs is a stud. Ruben Bain is a stud. Arvell Reese is a stud. Most of those guys won't be available at 7. Okay. Maybe Caleb Downs is sitting there at 7. But if Jeremiah Love is sitting there with Caleb Downs, sorry, Alan, I know it's going to be hard for you because I know you swear by the book of Saban.
You rue the day that you turned on Nick Saban.
you go by the book of Saban, and if any time that he's hyping up players like a Will Anderson, and we saw him get broke off yesterday, like a Caleb Downs, you know, starters don't happen at Alabama with Nick Saban was there.
Look, I really feel Nick Saban's energy, man. I grew up raised by men that their compliments came in the form of complaints, right?
Oh, that was my father too.
Exactly. So anytime you get an unfiltered, unprompted compliment, like you've earned it.
You've earned it, but you almost wonder.
You almost worry, like is something wrong with
something's
them.
wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, my father didn't tell me he loved me literally until a year after my mom passed.
That's probably how Caleb Downs felt and knew it was time to transfer to Ohio State because he was like, wait a minute, you like how I play?
No, he knows he's leaving.
Yeah, he's like, he must be retired.
He's about to retire. So listen, we're going to take a break here. We got to come back and we'll have like, 2-3 minutes to wrap this thing up. We got another scenario that Alan said he wants to throw at me. Nothing will break scenario number 1, but we'll find out what he has in store right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Back, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. A couple minutes left here before we wrap up tonight's program. Remember, on Thursday, I'll be in Pittsburgh. We'll be doing the show live from the setup in Pittsburgh near, Acton Shore Stadium. So really excited about that. It'll be right before it's showtime. So, yeah, we gave you our 3 scenarios. Third scenario was a trade back for Washington to bring in a second rounder or maybe 2 second rounders and still have an early first rounder this year. The second scenario was Sonny Styles is on the board at number 7 for the Commanders because Jeremiah Love was already taken. And ironically, the number 1 scenario for the Washington Commanders, which is the dream scenario that nothing can top, is Jeremiah Love sitting on the board at number 7. You have to run to the podium and take him. Nothing trumps that.
So we got a bonus scenario here. What if Jeremiah Love is on the table, but somebody calls you and offers you their 2 first-round picks as a swap?
Well, yeesh, that's a good one. That's a yeesh. No.
So it would be this year or the next year pick.
No. Listen, this is the bottom line. If you're going to make me move out of my spot, and to me, we've got the next Jaden Daniels in the building, different position, of course, but that kind of impact for the Commanders sitting there and you can walk away with him. You're going to have to give me your 2 first rounders this year and perhaps a second next year. I'm going to make you sweat if you want it.
That would put your trade partners at Dallas or Miami.
Dallas would not do that with Washington. So you can already rule that one out. They're not helping them beat the brakes off of him.
Oh, and the Chiefs.
Well, no, you have the Jets. Okay. Well, the Jets would have already picked, though.
Yeah. So,
okay. So you're right.
Yeah. 9th and 29th. And then
Miami.
Yeah. And then Miami.
11 and 30 for Jeremiah Love. No, I'm staying put. I'm taking Jeremiah Love with the number 7 pick. And it'll be a big party in DC if that happens. So listen, folks, appreciate you joining us today. Remember, Thursday, I'm live in Pittsburgh for the draft. You'll hear it right here on ESPN Radio with Richmond. Have a great and safe night. We'll see you soon.